You've probably seen videos or read articles about these luxury prisons where inmates live like they're on vacation and even get paid. Some prisoners even complain about not getting the latest video game consoles. Well, forget all that. Now let's talk about the most hardcore, brutal prison on the planet. This super prison, also known as a terrorist detention center, costs a fortune to run. To ease the financial burden, the owners have proposed a deal to the United States, the world's wealthiest nation. Lease a portion of the prison to house dangerous, deported criminals. The prison owners argue that the cost is relatively cheap for the US, but it would provide them with a significant revenue stream, allowing them to maintain the prison system sustainably. This is definitely an unusual proposal. And we're talking about a super prison in El Salvador. El Salvador? It's a country in Central America. Now, if you can picture yourself as some hardcore gangster down there, running a gang, dealing drugs, taking out rivals like it's nothing, there's one place you definitely don't want to end up. CECOT, the world's biggest terrorist detention center. That's the Spanish acronym. This ain't your typical prison, man. It's a straight-up criminal crushing machine, a black hole. Once you're in, you're never seeing daylight again, literally. When you think of El Salvador, you might picture a tiny Central American country, overrun with gangs and violence. But that's only part of the story. Down there, every day's like an action movie. Cops versus criminals, rich versus poor, paradise beaches versus dangerous slums, some of the riskiest places on Earth. It's got the most dangerous capital city on the planet, where you can't even step outside without paying protection money to some gang. But it's also got killer beaches for surfing, tough as nails people, and a president trying to change the whole country with an iron fist. And right in the middle of it all, this insane super prison. It's not just a prison. It's a whole prison city, 400 acres, surrounded by 36-foot walls topped with electric fences. This place ain't for the faint of heart. Once you're in, you're cut off from the world. No phones, no internet, no news, just cold walls, armed guards everywhere, and a deathly vibe. CECOT ain't just a jail. It's enough to make even the toughest gangsters sweat. And when we're talking prison, security is the name of the game. Now some of you might be thinking Prison Break movies, right? CECOT's got 8 concrete buildings, 32 cells each. Each cell's like 10,000 square feet with metal beds for 100 inmates. Security at CECOT? It's no joke. If you're thinking El Chapo tunnels or bribing guards like in Hollywood, forget it. First off, to even get out, you gotta get past walls thick as a military bunker, high as a medieval castle. And even if you're buff enough to climb that, thousands of volts of electricity will fry you before you get anywhere. And what's next? If you're super lucky, you gotta take on 600 soldiers and 250 special ops cops patrolling 24/7. Forget about using a pen to dig through walls like in the movies. CECOT's got vibration sensors that pick up even the tiniest movement. And overhead, drones are watching your every move. Even if you somehow get past the electric fence, the guards, the cameras, you're still stuck. CECOT's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by jungle and heavily armed soldiers. Escaping CECOT's like walking straight into hell. And CECOT itself, it's another kind of hell. Inside, no cozy little cells like in American movies, no beds, no windows, just huge rooms packed with hundreds of people. No privacy, no decent showers, no room to even wash your back. The bright LED lights 24/7 mess with your head. You lose track of day and night. Every move's watched, every meal's rationed. Down there, you don't live. You exist like an animal in a cage. Want to use the bathroom? It's a corner of the room. Want water? Wait for the guards to hand it out. Sick? Tough luck, no decent medical care. Family visits? Forget it. No family, no lawyers, nobody remembers who you are anymore. Once you're in CECOT, you disappear like you never existed. Most prisons have rehab programs, right? Job training, books, ways to shorten your sentence. Not CECOT. No books, no work, no outside time, no visits, no phone calls. Once you're in, it's just pure despair waiting to be forgotten. Sounds horrible, right? But why did El Salvador build this no-escape prison? El Salvador, like a lot of Central and South American countries, has a huge crime problem. With almost 2% of its adult population in prison, it's got one of the highest incarceration rates in the world. The prison population exploded because of the crackdown on gangs, which put a massive strain on the system. Basically, all the criminals off the streets are now in prison. Let's rewind to before 2019, when El Salvador was one of the most dangerous countries on earth. Two massive gangs, MS-13 and Barrio 18, ran the streets, doing stuff that'd make action movies look tame. 6,000 murders a year, one every 90 minutes. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele decided to do what nobody else dared. He rounded up all the criminals and locked them up where they couldn't cause trouble anymore. That's how CECOT was born, holding tens of thousands of gang members. And the result? The murder rate dropped by over 90%. Now, decent people are outnumbering the bad guys on the streets. People can actually go out at night without being scared. So, here's the big question about CECOT. Has anyone ever escaped? If you've heard about famous escapes like Alcatraz in '62, or El Chapo's tunnels, or gangsters bribing guards to disappear in the night, you gotta wonder, right? Short answer, no, nobody's ever escaped. And it's not by accident. CECOT's designed to be escape-proof. Here's why. No tunnels. The floors are super thick concrete with vibration sensors. Cameras everywhere, 24/7, no blind spots. Nobody on the outside or inside dares to help. And even if you get out, there's nowhere to go. It's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by jungle and soldiers. But just because nobody's escaped doesn't mean nobody's tried. In April 2023, some MS-13 guys tried to take advantage of the chaos during a transfer, but they got caught and punished hard. Then, in July 2023, some Barrio 18 members tried to pry open their cell doors with sharp objects, but the vibration sensors caught them. Every escape attempt's been stopped before it even got started. Right now, there are two sides to CECOT. Supporters say it's the only way to wipe out crime and let normal people live in peace. They say these criminals don't deserve any mercy after all the terror they caused for decades. But the other side says CECOT's too brutal, no fair trials, people getting locked up without proof, just rotting away and disappearing. So, what is CECOT? Justice or hell? Progress or human rights nightmare? One thing's for sure, it's a place that scares even the toughest criminals. No hope, no freedom, just pure despair. With walls nobody can break, security nobody can beat, and conditions nobody can survive. CECOT's a black hole with no way out. Once you're in, you're not even human anymore, just waiting to be crushed. And this is the place El Salvador is trying to sell to the US to hold their worst deportees. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more stories.